Hello and welcome to chapter number 8 of module 2, 337 Tourism. And today we'll take up a very interesting look at the chapter which says Indian architecture as tourist attraction. So probably you have gone to see the pink city, Hawa Palace in Jaipur, or you've gone to see the iconic Taj Mahal, or you've come to Mumbai and to see the Gateway of India. All of these are attractions that have made tourists as traveling across the length of the country to see these places. This chapter would have started with a olden perspective that where did this whole architectural part show shape. The first people who started were the Harappans. You know about Harappa as the Indus Valley civilization came across. This was the river that we see, and if you look around Indus Valley, this was where the first one of the world's first civilization was started. Harappa and Mesopotamia ahead. So now Harappa and Mohenjo-daro are Indian places, and this was the first time where you see the people, Harappan people, very excited. They would build three kind of buildings. Remember, when there is a chapter to be spoken of Harappa, remember, okay, Indus Valley civilization. So I can draw this. So essentially, this will be like this. So if this is the Indus River, right? You see, this is where the civilization will happen. This is where the Turks would come to India, the Mongols will come to India, the Persian will come to India, and this is the beautiful valley of Indus, which is very fertile. I'll just erase it for you, so it's easier now. Right. Harappans were known to build three kind of buildings. What is it? Number one, the houses you dwell in. Number two, pillared halls. So halls will have a lot of pillar. And finally, public bath. When I find very amusing, when you think of public bath, the Turkish bath, it's called hammam. Why would people go and take bath together? Well, it is what the modern day swimming pools are about, or your wet and joy kind of amusement parks, water world. So they also had a community place. Hygiene was important, so public bath. Remember, number two, halls. So all your, marriages, your weddings. This is pillared hall where they would interact, social interaction happened. And finally, your houses, and they were very proud of their houses. The Harappans had great sense of architecture and sculpture also. They were, very good at planning cities. And that is what you find in some of the monuments, some of the sculptures. In your painting, you would have heard about first bronze sculpture, the dancing girl found in Mohenjo-daro. So think of these two cities, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. How do you know Harappan civilization is so good at building? Because even after 5,000 years, the buildings they have built, the bricks with gypsum, like up modern plaster of Paris, are still surviving. Now our houses, 50 years and there'll be cracks. The building will be the municipality will come and say, don't stay, it's not safe. These are saved and protected and standing for 5,000 years. They were amazing people. They had built a Pashupati unicorn. Think of Harry Potter's Pegasus. Well, this was already there in the Harappan civilization. They also, the Vedic Aryans who came after, they were the knowledgeable people. They built wood houses, bamboo, reeds. They were more into religious life. They would build mandaps for worshipping. The fire worship was good. And this is where gurukuls and hermitage, ashrams started happening. Generally, this is a simple explanation I wanted to give you. As more, they embrace more religion, Jainism, Buddhism, the lifestyle was preserved. The Buddhist, sites of worship, Gaya, became very popular. And this was mostly there during the Gupta regime. And you'll talk about Ashoka in a later time. So these are generally the discussion I want to have. There are a lot of terms in this chapter. So, take it easy. Listen to this and you'll understand. So there was a who built the first temple? The Guptas built the first temple. After the Guptas came the Mauryas. And the most famous Mauryan king is Ashoka the Great. Ashoka preached Dhamma as if non-violence. When he became a Buddhist, he saw some of the 8 principles of Buddhism, and these were erected in monolithic stone pillars. Remember, monolithic stone pillars. You remember the famous Ashoka symbol, which is the lion capital in Sarnath, which is now the national emblem of India. So what you see in a flag, what you see, all the beautiful things, around what Ashoka had built, it's a part of India's now national heritage, our national symbol. So the Buddhist stupas were very popular. The stupas of Sanchi and Sarnath. Quick 2-mark question, very, very popular. Usually it's asked, so what are the two stupas? Sanchi and Sarnath. And where do you get this? All these from Jataka stories. Jataka tales are more like, Indian version of Ace of Fables, animal stalking, birds, and there are a lot of lessons out there. So there was a lot of blend of the Greek architecture and the Indian architecture. If you think I'm going very fast, you can slow down. It's on your hand. You can slow the speed. But these are some names you remember. I'll skip a lot of text for you so you remember the key pointers, the key ideas. There are quickly questions about Udaygiri caves in Odisha. So remember, there these cave architecture was very, very popular. Some of the Somnath temple, the Sun temple of Konark. So Odisha is a land of temples, and this Udaygiri caves are very, very popular. Again, you have Mahabalipuram, the Ratha temples of Mahabalipuram. You think of the Rath Yatra, it is the monuments in Mahabalipuram, and it was built, these temples, the Kailasha temple in Alora was built by a group called Rashtrakuta. Rashtrakutas is an amazing concept. Just remember these. There's so many in-text questions that we can look into it. Small ones, short ones. What are these ideas about temples in India? Remember, the key ones are the stupas that you think of, the Kailasha temple, the Ratha temple I told you about. Then what is the Dravidian style of architecture? This is, the kings of Chola in South India, Tanjore, they built it. Who built the Sun temple at Konark? And we have these answers in the Odisha. All of these are very, very popular kind of literature. From ancient, we go to medieval literature or medieval architecture. And this was the arrival of the Turks in India, Delhi Sultanate, and very, very popular is the Qutub Minar, Qutubuddin Aibak, built by, Alauddin Khilji. These are very popular monuments in Delhi. There is also the Sher Shah's tomb, and these are what is a distinct feature of the Mughal and the later after the, Mughal kingdom was the domes. Remember that domes are very popular. And one of the most outstanding dome, so they would have this dome-like thing. Every city will have a darwaza. One of the most famous is the Buland Darwaza. So remember, that's all you have to remember. Then, of course, Shah Jahan came, and Shah Jahan is known to build the Taj Mahal, the Red Fort, the Jama Masjid, the three iconic things. Red Fort, very popular. As you know, we have a prime minister hosting the national flag on Independence Day. So remember, there's a word called Paitra Dura. Now, it's not a Tamil word. Pitra, it's from the the French or the Persian word. It's calligraphy, intricate artwork inside the building. Remember, small concepts. And there is a question also, what is this word about? Pitra Dura is the intricate calligraphy inside. Especially they are known to that. Then came our friends who ruled us for 200 years, Britishers, of course, not our very good friends, but they laid some wonderful architectural places. The Portuguese came in Goa, in Pondicherry. So you have a lot of their imprints in today's India's architecture. For example, there's the Lutyens or Lutyens Palace. If all in Delhi knows the Lutyens Road, where Rashtrapati Bhavan is. This is our national symbol. It's the parliament there. So Rashtrapati Bhavan was a former viceroy's residence. These are quick questions. The Lutyens are the architects that built. In Calcutta, there is a marble palace, writers building, small words that you really read to about. As you travel India, you'll know a lot of this. So if you're going to Goa, what are the famous things in Goa? The churches. So give me two famous churches in Goa. So you have got a lot of churches, the Basila Bon Church and the Church of Saint Francis. It is said the hand of Saint Francis or the body is still intact the way it is. I have gone there, Goa, I've seen huge queues, but interesting. The Lutyen is the Rashtrapati Bhavan, Greek and Roman. So Greco-Roman architecture is during the British time. What is contained in Victoria Memorial? All these places I've visited. I love traveling. So it's more like a museum. There's coins, artifacts, vase, all of this. Chandigarh is India's most well-designed city. And this was built by a French architect, Le Corbusier. I can quickly go here. This line is important. So Chandigarh's Le Corbusier. In Delhi, right, the Indian International Center, IIC, I did a quiz show in IIC, was built by Austrian architect Steen. So there are some Indian architects very popular, Raj Reval and Charles Correa. I know these are a lot of words and you say, what are you teaching, sir? But well, this is what you need to learn. And I told you, I'll skip a lot of things for you to understand. 5 cities that came in India. So Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. Think of the religious cities, Varanasi, Ujjain, Ayodhya. and you'll not forget it. 5 ports built by British. 3 ports: Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. Then there is Vishakhapatnam, and a friend of mine lives in Machilipatnam. Don't forget Machilipatnam. 5 hill stations built by British. Oh well, I think you should just think of the mind. Nainital, Mussoorie, Darjeeling, Kalimpong. You have what else you got? You got a lot of things. Shimla, Manali. So depending on where you live, Dehradun, you can think of it. So there are two kind of places of British built. One was the civil lines where common civilian officers will live, and cantonment, like Pune is a lovely cantonment area where army officers will live. So this is generally about the Britishers. There's so many forts, palaces, there are things. So remember, if there's a question around British, think of Britishers built 3 very important things. Bridges. Okay, so there's a Howrah Bridge in Kolkata. Courts, the Supreme Court, or important places like the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And then there was a stadium like the Eden Garden in Kolkata. The kings, Raja Maharajas, they were more interested in palaces, forts, right? So you see the Red Fort, the Agra Fort, or Chhatrapati Shivaji's fort here in Maharashtra. And then they would also build tombs. So in short, if you understand these, you can answer some of the common cities India has. Chennai has Ice House. There is a very beautiful thing in Triplicane. There is a church there in Chennai. Calcutta has the Eden Garden. Calcutta has the Victoria Memorial. Bombay has, of course, Bombay is known for Gateway of India. We have got, what do we have got? We've got the bridges here. We've got the CST, or what's called the VT terminus. So if you know small things, these 1 or 2 questions will come. Delhi, of course, is a land of architecture. You have Qutub Minar, you've got the India Gate, you have got the Jama Masjid. And if you know all of this, you understand most of this chapter. Lot of names I understand, but if you love India, you will travel to these places. One, of course, India is known as a land of Sufis and saints. Among the famous Sufis in India, we've got, Khwaja, he's called Garibuddin, in Ajmer. So Nizamuddin Aulia. Remember Amir Khusro, the poet, and Haji Ali Dargah in Mumbai. So remember some of these common names and you will know this entire chapter. All the best. Good luck.